called body dealers, and they come crawling in, begging the Squid Game actor, "Can I have your son's body?" So with that being said, we will be back on schedule on May 5th with new episodes every Wednesdays and Sundays, audio and visual here on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. But thank you guys for understanding. And I promise I'm working so hard to make up for the time that I was sick. And let's get into it. Today, we're talking about ghost doctors. This is not some sort of weird urban legend of a doctor who died and now they just haunt the operating room and they're standing
Pierce, who was actually executed for his crimes in the 1800s. Him and a group of other convicts actually escaped prison, and while they were all on the run, they actually took it in turn to vote for one of the group to be killed and eaten so that the rest of the group could survive on the run. And they were just like killing each other off one by one. It's the most insane story I've ever heard. I might have to cover it at some point on this channel. I'm not going to tell you any more about the case though, because I don't want to ruin it for you. Make sure you go into Magellan TV to watch The Last Confessions of the Cannibal. It's crazy. Magellan TV update their selections every single week, so there's always something new for you to watch. It's completely ad-free, and you can watch it on pretty much any device you have, so what are you waiting for? And they're very kindly offering you guys a limited time offer of 30% off of an annual subscription, making it just $3.50 a month, plus a 2-week free trial to start that off. $3.50 a month and 2 weeks free. That is crazy. All you need to do is go to the link down below.
They've left in place some minor injunctive relief against the Trump organization. None of it's really going to matter that much because let's face it, the Trumps are busy doing something else for the next couple of years. And the injunctive relief that she entered against, let's say, like the Suns, was basically like, you can't run this business for the next 2 years. I think they'll be fine. They actually have some other things they can do. But this was a resounding victory for Donald Trump. The entire monetary judgment has been vacated. It's been wiped out. This is a court of Democrats. There is only one Republican appointed judge, and Republican in New York parlance basically
not giving me the other half, and then I'm fine.
I one time at Outback Steakhouse ate all the shrimp scampi.
Dude, it happens, man. We've all been there.
A shared scampi?
It was sorry, it wasn't shrimp scampi. It was
shrimp cocktail.
This is like a very Outback Steakhouse dish.
Dude, you're like,
where it's just
shrimp on a
but it
horse?
was just like 6 shrimp. And I think it got brought and I was like, oh, it's far less shrimp than I thought. So I think in my head, I was like, this can't be all
like
of it.
prawns.
Yeah.
Like they're going to bring out like the second part of this. So I kind of just like ate all 6 shrimp. And then like my friend who had ordered it with me was like, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. Hold on. And when in a restaurant have you ever gone
the second part.
the second part?
Outback Steakhouse works in mysterious ways.
They don't go, here's Act
still
1
don't
of
know.
the blooming onion. And then here's Act 2 of the blooming
I
onion.
was 18. I didn't know how the world worked.
Dude, I thought they were bringing out the second part, man.
It was many
bringing out Act
years
2.
ago. I'd never been to Outback. I didn't know how they did.
Just extend her a little bit to get it in the right place. That's why we be quick. Oh, darling.
It's been seen and abhorred by millions,
That's why
causing shock and anger here and abroad,
it didn't really hurt. If that hurt, you'd still be crying.
exposing a growing number of chiropractors whose work, experts say, has now ventured way outside and above their level of medical expertise.
There's no need to see a chiropractor as a child. There's just no need for it. You're putting children at unnecessary risk. You're taking money off people and offering them what can only be a placebo.
In many cases, chiropractors claim they can help cure asthma, ADHD, colic, bedwetting, and even
Boys, That's a good dude right there. That's what you got to do, man. If a girl says she's not looking for anything serious because she's going on a really long trip in a few months, that's an open invitation, brother. And at the end of their vacation, Adam decided to pop the question.
I came up with this idea of making a heart out of rose petals.
The fact that he'd set it up, you know, that's something that I wouldn't expect Adam to be capable of.
Okay, that's definitely something every guy wants to hear from their fiance. Yeah, I never knew he was capable of setting things up. You know, I asked him to set up the patio furniture one day. He got so scared he called the cops. Well, he tried to, but he never really figured out how to set up his phone.
One, who is Colin Thompson? And two, y'all are making 6 to 7 figures doing podcasts? I'm in the wrong line of work. I make like 4 figures here in the $10 million studio. Barely keep the lights on, okay? So I went to do some research, figure out, you know, how these people are making all this money and also how they got robbed. And what I found out was that this company that stole the $4 million was a podcast network called Cast Media. Podcast network being a fancy name for saying they represent podcasts to find sponsors. You know, all that stuff you violently skip with the fast forward 15-second button. Yeah, those guys. And Cast Media would basically work with them as a middleman. They would take some money, give the podcasters the read, and then give the money. Of course, taking a cut for themselves. Now, that is simplifying it a bit, and we'll go into the details more later. But what you need to know is that Cast Media hadn't been paying their talent on time. And what started as being late for maybe a month had turned into 7, 8, 9 months late on paying until one day Cast Media and their CEO.
And it's hard to believe, but for, I think, some people who are a little bit younger than I am, but 16 years ago in this country, if you were a woman and you wanted to buy individual coverage, you would pay more than a man the same age because women use more healthcare services. If you had something wrong with you, some health condition, an individual market plan could charge you more or say, we're not going to insure that part of your body. So, yes, I know. Wow. So crazy, okay. Right? Like they would write insurance plans that would say, well, we won't insure your lungs because you had lung cancer. Or that was, really how the individual market operated. States could make restrictions, but you as a person, you could even be deemed uninsurable. And there were many, many people who would go.
They've already had a 34% increase this week over past weeks. President Trump and Republicans fundamentally believe we have a sacred responsibility to protect and provide for our military families with the resources they need to thrive. If Democrats believe in this very simple premise too, they should end this shutdown immediately. Unfortunately, the severe impacts of the Democrat shutdown extend beyond our troops. Nearly 7 million mothers, infants, and low-income families who rely on government-run food assistance will be in jeopardy if the WIC program runs out of money in the weeks ahead. The more than 13,000 air traffic controllers who ensure that Americans fly safely in airports across the country are currently working without pay. The National Flood Insurance Program is in danger of lapsing, which could leave families without necessary help if a disaster strikes, and we are in the middle of hurricane season. Critical services offered at Social Security field offices are
and she's still alive. If she looked down, there would have been certain parts of her body where she could see straight through her skin, her tissue, her muscle, and see her bones. There were giant holes all over the lower half of her body. She was completely covered in feces. There was feces in her stomach, inside her stomach, in her mouth, and even her ears. She had been trapped on this couch for the past 12 years of her life. By the time that she was found, she had melted through the couch into a hole and her skin was fusing with the brown leather. The only contents found in her stomach would be sofa cushion foam and feces. Did she eat it out of desperation? Was she fed it? We don't know. The worst part is, we're still unclear why any of this happened. There are theories that range from locked-in syndrome, where someone is fully conscious but unable to move their bodies,